channel resistance, then again another resistance like that, contact resistance and source drain contact, drain. Yeah, this is the N plus diffusion resistance. This is the lightly doped region. Are you able to remember? N plus region, and then lightly doped LDD. This is LDD region, LDD. This is LDS, and this is RC. I wrote R, LDS. This one R, LDD, LDD, and this one RC, RC. So this is contact. Let me say contact because it is becoming same. And channel resistance. This is, and you have the gate here. Did I discuss this thing or not? Tell me. Should I show the diagram once again, or you can understand? Yes. Somebody.
Yes,
Arts department may not be knowing. You might have missed, but you all are. Have we discussed this thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yes. So if you reduce the ND, means doping concentration of N plus in this case, and in the case of N MOSFET, what will happen? Can you recall it? This resistance will be increased or decreased? Why you are silent? Promptly reply so that I can go ahead.
Increase.
It will increase. So if it is increasing, this also will increase, and because this is drain side, this is source side. Okay. So if it is increasing, RC delay will increase, and hence the propagation delay of the circuit made by this kind of MOSFETs will be increased, and hence circuit speed will be decreasing. Is it not written there? Same thing here. The resistance of the HD diffusion region increases, thereby increasing the RC delay, reducing the device performance. In one sentence, that thing is written. What is the main drawback of lambda-based SCMOS, scalable CMOS design rules? Actually, the main drawback of using a scalable design rule like lambda-based CMOS design rule is that it is not possible to achieve the highest packing density. Okay, means you are not exactly doing in terms of lambda. You are doing the changing the dimensions. Say, as I said, that the poly width has been made 2 lambda width, where lambda may be say 11 nanometer, right? But suppose you wanted to make this channel length, it is 11 nanometer. So channel length L will be then in that case 22 nanometer, right? So suppose you want to make the channel length in between. Suppose you want to make channel length equals to 25 nanometer. Understood? So it is not possible. Either it will be 22 or how much? 33 nanometer, 3 lambda. 3 lambda is going to be 33 nanometer. So by using this kind of lambda based rule, your packing density will not be very high. But if you follow the micron rule, then it is exactly whatever micron or say dimension you want, exactly same thing can be done. So anyway, in this course, we are not discussing much about the design rules. It was there in previous syllabus very thoroughly. We used to discuss all the design rules. If time permits, extra things I'll discuss, but this thing came in the way, so I was discussing about the design rules, and hence this question came in. Now, already we have said that guard rings is one method to reduce the um, possibility of latch up in CMOS. Then by reducing the gain of the BJT, this PNPN, NPN, BJT. Now something is here on topic SPICE models of MOS transistors, transistor instantiation, SPICE description of CMOS inverter. So this thing you read yourself from the book, and those who are doing the lab, they will be automatically coming across this, okay, when I'll be describing. So are you having the books of Rabi or not? Tell me. You want me to share? I can do that. Or you might have downloaded. Anybody have downloaded? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, then you share with others. And this chapter, see chapter number 3.5.5, 3.3.5. This chapter number you read yourself. Then a word on process variations, chapter number 3.4. So this thing I have not discussed earlier, and the previous batch I discussed. So I have written here, already discussed. If you want, I can go for that, or I'll leave it. You read it from the book, from this chapter. The MOS transistor under dynamic behavior, that is chapter number 3.5 of that book. The technology scaling, full scaling, constant electrical field scaling, fixed voltage scaling, general scaling, then FinFET. These are the topics given in this chapter. So more or less we have discussed about the technology scaling. If you want, you further read from this book or Jan Taur. Some of you are studying the MDC, so Jan Taur package name. This book you can read for further details. I'm also skipping here because something we have discussed which is good enough to go ahead. Now we are going to discuss something like, from the device we are going to enter into a digital circuit. Circuit level discussion will start now. Okay, and inverter is the nucleus of all digital designs. Why? Because if you know inverters, its analysis can be extrapolated for discussion of or understanding of other gates like NAND gate, NOR gate, or OR gate, AND gate, etc. Exclusive OR gate, exclusive NOR gate, etc. So it is called nucleus of all digital designs. If you want, you can take snapshots. I'll be going a little fast now. The inverter can be modeled as a resistance. If it is on, it will exhibit some finite resistance. In case of NMOSFET, it is Rn. In case of PMOSFET, it is Rp. If it is off, it will exhibit infinite resistance. Okay, so this way it is model here. Model for high input means you have given high input, so this MOSFET and MOSFET is on, exhibiting some resistance, finite resistance, and when in or low input, then the MOSFET is off, the MOSFET is on, and it is exhibiting Rp because current has to pass through this, and we have seen that just now in the previous slide. We have seen that there are series of resistances. Series of resistances, I mean to say, this resistance is starting from source to drain or drain to source. You have contact resistance, then this resistance is what is denoted by this? It's RSD, source drain diffusion resistance, you can say. Similarly, this is resistance for the LDD. This is for channel, and this is. So we find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 resistance. 7 resistances are there. So obviously, this all together is going to show some resistance. It is of course very less resistance, but yes. And the resistance value also will depend on the gate voltage. How much your strong voltage at the gate you have applied. Is it near threshold? Gate voltage is near threshold, or it is very high. Your threshold voltage, for example, is 0.4 volt. If applied 5 volt at the gate, then obviously it is closer to threshold voltage. You can say near threshold voltage. So maybe inversion layer is not so strong, or you may apply 0.3 volt. So it is in some threshold region, and very less number of inversion electrons may be there. So it is not so conductive. Channel is not so conductive, right? So channel resistance is going to be depending on the gate voltage, whether it is strongly inverted, moderately inverted, or very weakly inverted. These all terminology are known to you. Am I correct or not? These terminologies I am using now, is it understood? Moderate inversion region, strong inversion region, and yes, tell somebody.
Yes, sir, understood.
So now we have discussed a lot of matters about the device, and those terminology will come and you must recollect it. See, the logic levels are not dependent in a CMOS circuit. Logic levels are not dependent on the relative device sizes. Means with our length ratio of a CMOS inverter, aspect ratio, we call W by L as a aspect ratio. Aspect ratio. So it will not depend on that in case of static CMOS circuit. See, I'm using the term static because already you have discussed something called dynamic. Yes or no? We have discussed something about dynamic circuit also, dynamic inverter. So I'm calling static CMOS. And until unless mentioned, it will be all about static CMOS inverter, NAND gate, NOR gate only. If dynamic circuits are coming, then we'll mention further. Anyway, point is the logic levels or output values 0 or 1 doesn't depend on the aspect ratio of the devices and MOSFET and PMOSFETs. But certain circuits are there. In that case, the output levels are dependent on size of the aspect ratio of the MOSFET and MOSFET and PMOSFET. Example is the it's called shadow NMOS logic. Shadow NMOS logic is a ratioed logic in which the output level depends on the ratio of the MOSFETs. See here, VTC is given, and if NMOS is stronger, quite stronger than PMOS, then the low value will be closer to 0. If NMOS is weaker, then gradually its VOL output, low output voltage will be higher than 0. Ideally, it should be 0, but it will never be 0 because see, in this logic family, shadow NMOS logic family, the load resistance or top resistance, the MOSFET can be, as I said, represented by a resistor which is called load. So this P MOSFET is permanently grounded, so it is always on. Okay, and since it is always on, and if you are making this is 0, so no problem, you get high V out. Okay, because this is off. But if V in is 1, what will happen? This is going to conduct, means in MOSFET is conducting, and as usual, the MOSFET is always on. So see the VDD, the MOSFET is going to pull up the V out. At the same time, MOSFET is going to pull down the V out output node. So there is a fight between these two MOSFETs, and hence the output level, particularly the VOL, will be depending on the strength ratio or W by L ratio of this MOSFETs, and hence it is called ratio logic. Is it understood? Rajwal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So typical values of the output resistance. See, output resistance of a circuit maybe what? Any node, output node, sorry, say output node, say in case of what is this gate? Tell me.
Inverter.
Inverter, dynamic inverter, right? Now, clock is high. Okay, so this is on, this is off, and input is 0. Now tell me, the output node, the out, is connected to what? What is the status of this? Impedance status of this node, output node. Tell Arsha Tripathi.
So it is connected to the ground.
Yes, sir.
Pulled up.
How?
So due to the clock signal, the PMOS is
clock signal has made ME on and MP off. Input is 0. Reconsider your reply.
Sir, no output. Sir, it is also not connected.
Not connected to ground. Is it connected to VDD?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Then what is this? I mean, what is the status of this in terms of impedance?
High impedance.
It is called high impedance. High impedance state. Output is in high impedance state. And if circuits remains in high impedance state, then there is a possibility output impedance is high, or this node impedance is high impedance state. This will never occur in case of static CMOS, because either of the two, pull up or pull down network, will be on. So either will be connected to ground or VDD. So low impedance output is the typical values of the output. See, where is that? Yeah, in steady state there always exists a path with finite resistance between output and either VDD or ground. Never both are off. Okay. A well-designed CMOS inverter therefore has a low output impedance, unlike this scenario, which makes it less sensitive to noise and disturbances. Understood what it is meaning? Whereas this dynamic circuit is in high impedance state, so it is sensitive to noise and disturbances. Okay, if any noise comes here, suppose it is holding a 1, some charge is stored here, and some disturbance is coming, like alpha particles or some kind of gamma ray, cosmic ray, etc. heavy ions. It strikes near this node, and if the strike of that node, I mean those high energy particles creates electron hole pairs, and if the node, either this one or this one, drain off this NMOSFET or PMOSFET are reverse biased. In case of the reverse bias, what will happen? Those charges, I mean electron hole pair, out of those, either electron or hole will be collected by this node, and its status or logic level may flip from high to low or low to high. This is one case. This is the case when some energetic particle may strike near the node, and the node may change its value from 0 to 1 or vice versa. This scenario is called single event transient. Okay. Anyway, other than that, what may happen? Some capacitive couplings. If another line is going, and in that line you have a clock. Clock is being routed. Clock is being routed. So this will impact this output line. Its value will be distorted. This all will be discussing in the second module. So we can say that, we can conclude that the high impedance state of the node is sensitive to noise and disturbances, whereas in CMOS circuit, nodes are not at high impedance, or other word, you can say this, it is safe from this kind of noise and disturbances. Is it understood, Rajwal?
Yes, sir.
High impedance means what? It is very high impedance. Resistance value is too high, whereas in CMOS case it is in the range of kilo ohm. The input resistance of the CMOS inverter is extremely high because you have the SiO2 at the gate. So at low frequency, very high impedance will be exhibited by a CMOS circuit. A single inverter can theoretically drive an infinite number of gates or have an infinite fan out. Of course, propagation delay of the circuit will increase. Do you agree with this or not? Normally, we discuss possibly that 4 similar size gates are connected. Fan out should be 4 ideally. I mean, traditionally 4 fan out is kept. Suppose one inverter you have. So how many same size inverter can be driven by it? Is a 4 in quantity. Okay, but if you consider, if you ignore the propagation delay, then theoretically it can drive infinite number of fan out. Are you understanding this point?
Yes, sir.
But if you increase the number of fan outs, what will happen? What will happen? Tell me. The value of CL is going to increase because every gate is having 2 to COX. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
2 to COX is there or not? So COX value is going to increase. This signal has to drive. If there are 4 gates, let it be inverter or any other gate, static CMOS gate, then 2 to COX per fan out gate will be there. One for PMOSFET, one for NMOSFET. And of course, if you are using a dynamic inverter, this inverter is a dynamic inverter. These inverters are also dynamic inverter. Tell me, the circuit speed will be higher, faster, slower? quickly. Dynamic circuit we have also discussed, and today also I have drawn here. Tell dynamic circuit scenario compared with this static circuit scenario, which one is going to be faster and why? Hmm?
Sir, dynamic
Yes.
is slower.
Dynamic is slower.
Yes, sir.
Dynamic is slower. Now somebody else? Any other opinion? Ask the party.
No, sir. I cannot distinguish which faster and slower.
You cannot distinguish.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Prajwal.
Sir, say, I'm not
No, sir.
aware of.
Static is faster, sir, because it will be 3 COX per gate.
Static will be faster. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Static is faster. This is and dynamic is slower. Everybody is thinking the same thing. Do you agree with I mean Tripathi? Do you all agree with Tripathi?
Sir, in dynamic, input is only connected to one MOSFET.
Yes, here is the point. What is your name, please? Tell me.
Karthik.
Karthik Rai. You are the correct. See, instead of 2 COX, you have only 1 COX. See that? One gate, one MOSFET has to be driven by the previous output. Okay, suppose it is coming from somewhere. As we are showing here, it is this input is coming from some. This has to drive only one MOSFET. So COX is 1. Except if we compare this one, so here we find that 8 COX is there. There will be only 4 COX. Is it understood? Very good. Karthik, you should think differently. Why I am asking this question? You should try to understand and try to analyze. And parallelly, we are discussing dynamic as well as the static. Anyway, however, increasing the fan out also increases the propagation delay. So, although fan out does not have any effect on the steady state behavior, if you keep input high for a long time or low for a long time, then not a problem. You will get level up to output, the desired output only, desired level only. Okay, if your input is high or low for a long time, there is no problem. But if you switch the input very frequently, then it will not happen. What will happen? You will not get the proper output value. It will charge up before that I mean to say, if you quickly change the input very frequently, if you change the input, and this load capacitance, which is having 3 components, will not be able to charge properly. Before it is reaching this value of high, it has gone, and then again you have made the change in the input, so it is falling, and then again you are going to. So output level is not going to be what is desired. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So, but if you keep the input high or low for a long time, you will get the full value of outputs, high as well as low. No problem. Now, no direct path exists between the supply and ground rails under steady state operating conditions, which prevail when the input and output remain constant. The absence of direct path, ignoring leakage currents, signifies no consumption of static power. So it is a low power device and low power circuits. because in static condition, when input is held high or low for a long time, even that static condition, if you ignore the leakage currents, then no power consumption is going to happen, because only one network, pull up or pull down, is on, other one is off. I hope you understand these statements. Next, it is obvious from the above observation why CMOS is the digital technology of the choice since last 5 decades. Earlier BJT came, it was dominating for few years, but once the CMOS technology came, it is the dominant technology till date. The situation was very difficult in the 70s and early 80s, when all the early microprocessors such as the Intel 4004 were implemented in pure NMOS technology. There was no PMOS. The lack of complementary devices, both NMOS and PMOS, in such a technology makes it impossible to realize inverters with zero static power. What do you mean by that? Yeah, this is a suppose the load can be realized with a resistance, better to realize with the PMOSFET or NMOSFET, only NMOSFET. This resistance is always on, or rather this MOSFET is always on, say, and hence a resistance is there. And when your input is high, this MOSFET is on, and hence during its high input condition, your VDD is connected to ground till it is on, power being consumed from the VDD continuously. This is not the case in static CMOS. Understood this? In pseudo NMOS logic or only NMOS logic, the power consumption for certain input pattern is too much. Static power dissipation is too much. Anyway, I don't know whether you are understanding or not. Is it understood?
Yes.
In such a technology makes it possible to realize inverters with zero static power if we ignore the leakage currents. Hence, static power consumption put a upper bound on the number of gates that can be integrated on a single die. Hence, there was a dire need of CMOS in the 1980s. Later on, scaling of the technology allowed for higher integration densities. Now, various regions of the mode or regions of MOSFETs when VTC is plotted here in an inverter of an inverter. Okay. The voltage transfer characteristic is shown here. This response is dominated mainly by the output capacitance of the gate CL, which is composed of drain division capacitance of the NMOS PMOS transistors, the capacitance of the connecting wires, and the input capacitance of the fan out gate. This is all known to you. Yes or no? You are not telling anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it's known.
Understood. Okay. This VTC is plotted. The VTC of static CMOS inverter derived from figure 5.4, that is inverter circuits only. VD equals to 2.5 volt. It is talking about actually 250 nanometer technology generation or 0.25 micrometer technology or process. Okay. For each operation region, the modes of the transistors are annotated: off, or raised deep, or saturated. Okay, suppose what I meant to say is I don't have any space, but the inverter is known to you and everybody. Now, my point is out. Input in equals to 0. What is the region operation of the MOSFETs? Can anybody say? In equals to 0.
NMOS is switched off. PMOS
Okay.
is switched on.
Switched on. If it is on, there will be 2 region operation. Tell me in which region?
Saturation.
Saturation. Who is telling? Tripathi? Who is that? Karthik. Karthik, right? Now, Tripathi, Harsh, tell,
Yes,
what
sir.
is your opinion? You tell, what is your opinion? What should I write for this?
Sir, linear, sir.
Now, Prajwal.
Saturation.
Who? Who is telling saturation?
Sir, Harshvardhan Agrawal.
Yes,
Harshvardhan. Harsh is saying saturation. Prajwal,
The saturation only.
saturation. Prajwal, also saturation. See, I said something before, while discussion of current equation, while deriving the current equation, try to recollect and tell me correct answer. When input is 0, output is high because the MOSFET is on. Okay. Now condition we know. The MOSFET's condition we have to find out whether it is in on state or off state. Linear region or saturation region. What is the condition for saturation region? VDS should be less than equals to VGS minus VTP. Okay. Say VDD is equal to 1 volt and VTP equals to 0.4 volt. VTN equals to 0.4 volt. This is minus, this is plus. Tell me, VDS is what? If it is true, then saturation. If true, then saturation. Tell me, what is the VDS now? Tell, what is the VDS? We'll check up whether it is, it is set. True or false, we'll want to find out. You're silent. Tripathi, Harsh. What is VDS?
Sir, VDS, sir, it cannot be 0.
Then what?
Sir, it is coming 1 minus n equal to 0. Ideally, it can 0.
VDS is what? VDS is VD minus
VS.
VS.
Yes.
What is the value of VD?
1.
1. VS is also
1.
1. Okay. So it is 0. There is no potential difference between these two. That is the meaning of that. It is that same potential. In static condition, it is having same potential. This node,
Yes, sir.
output node CL is fully charged. It is fully charged. And we have also discussed that it can fully charge the the MOSFET can charge the CL fully. If you connect the N MOSFET here, it will not be able to charge fully, but there will be a drop, bit drop. We discussed or not?
Yes, sir.
So what is the problem? Now, this is VDS side is 0, should be less than VGS minus VTP. What is VGS? VG minus VS. Okay,
VG 0.
minus VTP. VG is 0 minus VS. What is VS? Minus 1. Okay, minus VTP. VTP is minus 0. Minus. Okay, minus 0.4. Okay, plus 0.4. So ultimately, this is what? Minus 0.6. Is it true or false?
It's false.
It is false. Then which region should be this MOSFET in? The MOSFET is in which region? Linear. So understood. Why this thing I should repeat? Tell me. We have discussed a lot about the. Of course, we have taken the single MOSFET, the MOSFET as well as N MOSFET, and I thought that you are quite knowledgeable by that time. Once I will discuss inverter, you will understand. But you are not understanding. I have hinted by giving the writing this equation. Still, you are not able to quickly respond. Tell me why it is. You are not so dull, student. You are not recollecting anything. Are you revising things? Whatever discussed so far is going to be utilized for circuit level discussion also. And you must be able to recollect things. Then we can go fast. Anyway, let me go further. You are not doing anything. I am only passing or wasting my time. Okay. The gate response time is simply determined by the time it takes to charge the load capacitor CL to the resistor RP. When input is 0, it will be charging like this. And when input is 1, it will be discharging through N MOSFET. The resistance is Rn.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we have
Time is over?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll continue from here. See, you try to recollect things. Whatever discussed so far is important for further discussion. Every time if I take you back to the previous discussion, it is going to be wastage of time and it will be difficult for me to cover the syllabus.